So 7.38b actually came back a couple of days ago, and the meta has actually switched a lot. So in this video, we're going to talk about the meta switch, and we're going to give 2, maybe 3 top heroes for each role. Let's not waste any more time and go.
Down side to side like a roller coaster.
So the first hero for position 5 that you should actually start picking is Winter Wyvern. While he got nerfed in 7.38b, he's still one of the best heroes to play with and grind. While Wyvern is not the best laner to have with in the beginning, he gets to compensate a lot in the mid game for the lack of laning presence. As a result, most players get to go for the right facet. I also like the left facet, the one that heals towers or actually defends towers. I think whatever you're gonna choose, you're gonna have a really nice game with. Now, 2 other options. The first one is, of course, Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden is an actual beast. Of course, we're gonna go for the barrier facet that makes laning stage really strong and also gets to help you a lot into the mid game, especially if you have a lot of mana and you go for the level 15 talent, the Crystal Nova, so you're constantly gonna Crystal Nova your allies and you're gonna give them more physical barrier. And the other option, of course, is Jakiro, that also got nerfed a little bit in 7.38b, but still is one of the greatest laner. Both Crystal Maiden and Jakiro, they are also great in the mid game, because mainly if you get to play carry, you can play against these heroes if you don't have BKB. For example, Crystal Maiden, she has Crystal Nova, she has Frostbite, and of course she has a shard. It's almost impossible if you kite the BKB to actually move if you can't kill her. And Jakiro, he gets to buy Yules, he gets to buy Force of Glimmer Camps. Of course, actually, Ice Path Facet is also really strong and you should choose that, but definitely the hero has a lot of potential. So the first hero for position 4 is actually Weaver. Weaver was actually reintroduced in 7.38 because the Swarm gets to give more XP right now. And while the hero actually got slightly nerfed in 7.38b, the nerfs are not enough. She's still out there. What you want to do is get Sukushi level 1, max Q, and then actually start using it on enemies, get a lot of XP. With the XP, you get to kill the enemies. With the gold from the enemies, you get to buy items, and then you kill them again. The hero is really straightforward. Just make sure you won't feed a lot until you get more levels to Sukuchi. You want to be slightly more defensive. The next hero is Bounty Hunter. Similar to Weaver, the vision actually feels a little bit weird, and there are not really that many sentries. Actually, there are sentries, but people don't get to place them correctly, so you can move around the map. Bounty Hunter, similar to Weaver, a really strong hero. You can get to rotate to the mid lane, you can get to start the tri lane. You're a really strong laner because you have a high armor, high damage. As a result, you are really strong, and of course you get to snowball. And if you think about it, what is meta right now? Everybody's just fighting non-stop, minute 10 to minute 35. So Bounty Hunter really benefits from constant fights. And the last choice for position 5 is actually the really unorthodox Spirit Breaker. Why Spirit Breaker strong all of a sudden? To be honest, they didn't really change something about him, but like Bounty Hunter, you non-stop fighting and Spirit Breaker really benefits from that. B, you can get to gank the mid lane, and ganking mid lane is not really that easy with a new map. C, I realized that throughout a lot of games, for some reason I get to lack XP. And to be honest, Spirit Breaker's innate is probably one of the most broken innates in the game, because even if you play from behind, you just win a fight, and all of a sudden what happens, you just take 3-4 levels. So that's really interesting, and I think Spirit Breaker is actually a really nice combo with many offlaners right now. So definitely Spirit Breaker is on top 3 for position 4. With the nerfs on Tidehunter, while he's still one of the strongest offlaners right now, and probably he should be top 3, I still believe that he's not top 2, and we have 2 more winners. Now, the first offlaner, everybody knows it. The first offlaner by far is actually NS. Nightsucker right now is by far the most broken offlaner. You go for the Night Facet, you get to stomp in the laning stage. The fact that you have, in reality, passive on level 1 allows you to get Void and secure range grip. At the same time, allows you to go actually Void level 1 and Fear level 2, and many times you can get to kill heroes like Morphling, or even level 3, you can have 2 levels in Void, 1 level in Silence, and you have already by default 1 level in Passive. But many players tend to skip that. It's my personal preference to go for this type of build. The second hero, the second offlaner, is actually Darkseer, and Darkseer actually came out of nowhere. What did they change to Darkseer? Well, he gains a lot of attack speed because of his facet. Second of all, his new innate allows him in reality to gain some health and some mana when you get to level up. As a result, what happens is that you get to actually trade and you have a lot of attack speed, and it's really hard to trade with the enemies, right? Because you have a lot of attack speed early on. And at the same time, you get to level, and in reality, you get to also gain some health and mana. And even though it's one-time instance, it's still like an instant tango and some instant mango. So why not? Darkseer is one of the best heroes right now. And if you think about it, what is Darkseer lanes with the best? Bounty Hunter, Spirit Breaker, Weaver, they're all the same. The same thing as Night Stalker. What do all these heroes have in common? They want to constantly non-stop fighting, and this is what you should always aim. In position 2, we have 3 heroes. The first one is actually Ember Spirit. And Ember Spirit, everybody knows it, right? Orb of Corrosion, Phase Boots, Mage Slayer, SNY, and then you can just buy Sivas or Ags or Shards, and you can just get to adapt overall. But why is Ember actually so good right now? In reality, it's actually Mage Slayer because there is a lot of magical damage, and actually there is non-stop fighting. Ember has actually low cooldowns, Mage Slayer deals a lot of damage, it's a perfect build-up for Ember, so Ember is in a really good spot. The second hero is Leshrac. And yes, 7.38b has Leshrac nerfed because Lightning Storm no longer reduces attack speed when cast, but in reality the power of Leshrac is level 20 and level 25 talent that you get to have 2 targets with Edict, and at the same time, on level 25 you have more explosions. It's actually giga strong. As a result, both of the heroes are really high tempo, similar to position 3, 4 and 5. If you think about it, they're literally fighting non-stop. The last mid laner, of course, is Huskar. Huskar, the new innate, is absolutely broken, but you don't have to take it necessarily all the time. It's situationally really strong. What does this mean? There are actually 2 heroes that are really strong against Huskar. Viper and Sniper. There are no other heroes that can actually deal with Huskar. Maybe some kind of Lina, but you rarely get to see this type of heroes right now. As a result, Viper is gonna have a really hard time right now. Why? Because Viper can get to dispel poison attack, and as a result, he will not have the best time ever to kill this Huskar. Huskar also gets to lane perfectly against everyone. So the new facet, again, you don't have to always pick it up, but it is in a really good place, makes him really good choice, especially as last pick. And of course, items like Armlet, Shansen Yasa, Blink Dagger, BKB and tags all make the hero high tempo. You get Roshan, you snowball. Huskar is in a really nice spot. You dominate the laning stage and then you snowball as usual after taking Roshan. Position 1 now, it's the most interesting thing. Why? Because the meta heroes in 7.38, which was Lifestealer and Tiny, actually got nerfed. They're actually still on a fine place, but having them nerfed gives actually the place for 2 other winners. The first one is actually Slark. Slark is actually by far the best carry right now. Why? Mainly because you can get to deward everything, and right now still people get to learn the map and it's still chaotic. B, the right facet is actually broken unless you want to buy Ags, which you don't always want to do that. But if you want to go for Ags, let's say you play against AM or some kind of Spirit and you want to have the double pounds, then definitely it's worth to go for it. But I really like the other facet. And third, if you think about the meta offlaners, what's it? NS, Darkseer, and in reality Slark gets to lane pretty nice against them. And even like against NS, he doesn't really care about being caught because he has a night vision, okay? And the last hero is actually Ursa. Ursa is also in a really good place. Why? Well, Tiny had too much armor, and right now Ursa used to punish and can punish high armor heroes by default. Tiny has just too much freaking armor to deal with. And now that Lifestealer Ags do not get to disarm enemies, Ursa is finally there. Most importantly for Ursa, again, he gets to have really good synergy with all the position 5, and he lanes really nice against all the position 3. But the most important thing is like you can also get to farm the Tormentor. All you need to have is like Max C, Max W, level 1 ultimate's fine, Battle Fury, Mithril Hammer, and you can pretty much solo it if you're like level 11, max level 12. And actually that's really nice because even in my games, let's say around 10k MMR, people don't really go to Rush Tormentor, which is like really negative right now. That being said, this is the meta right now, and I think this is going to be the meta for quite some time until we have 7.38c. Of course, write down your questions in the comments. I'm more than happy to actually answer any questions that you might have. As usual, GG Raza, and I'll see you on the next video. Hey guys, real quick, if you did like this video, make sure you subscribe, like and comment, as it motivates us a lot to keep making these videos and these guides. And of course, make sure you check out our 6-month coaching program. It's almost guaranteed. That's gonna get you to the next metal, if not metals. The link is gonna be down in the descriptions. Make sure you click it and apply right now.